What is up? Do not forget to subscribe. Check out my channel playlist for individual tutorials on logic, sculpting, animation, music, and more. This is a more advanced tutorial. This is for how you can create CPUs, and they should work for any type of game. First person shooter, as I've used it for platform first person shooters, and I've used it for fighting games like linear fighting games, thanks Smash Brothers. So this is how you can set up a CPU, and you can make it as advanced as you want to make it, as advanced as you want to make it. That's what will pretty much be on your part. So first let me show you what a CPU will look like, will entail, what it can entail for your game. So I am the angler fish. The CPU is the homie right there. And as you can see, he's a working CPU. Walking towards the character, has knockback, all sorts of great things, interacts with the objects. You can even get your CPU to know when to do things, to correlate and respond to the character. The main thing you'll want to remember whenever you're making your CPU, whenever it comes to walking, because if you use anything else, it might fly. If you use like anything else, any sort of other way to do this, to set up the gadgets first, what I want you guys to remember to do is turn this off. You might want to turn off auto jump by pressing L1 and square and opening up the puppet thing. You might have to press L1 and X a few times. You might want to turn these off also. Everything is instantly tagged with this tag, look at me, I think, and that's why it does that. So the second thing we'll want to show you guys is usually all puppets have this thing called follower behavior inside of them. You can either turn this off right here, or you can just put other stuff inside of it, like I did here. So this is what that is. That's what's making your puppet instantly follow things. It's the jump behavior, the run, and delete that if you want to, all that great stuff. The main thing you'll want to know is what's making this thing move is these two gadgets right here. This is what makes it walk towards the character. This is the direction, what gives this gadget the direction. The direction is this tag right here. So put a tag inside of your puppet microchip of your playable character somewhere. Mine's right there, and it's like near the center of the character. That way it moves with the character. That's why it's in the center. The speed, rotation speed is at like really high. This is for if you want to make a game where it's a more linear computer, where you move from side to side. So it's these settings for from side to side. And then you'll want to plug the look at scene space direction inside of a mover. I don't think this is an advanced mover, it's just a follower mover, something like that. It's probably a mover. Set the speed, set the strength right here. And if you want it to just move on the x-axis, which is this way and this way, then that's this. Turn everything else down. And then you'll want to move the pointer to where it makes it to where, let me close out of this so we can see the arrow. So the arrow is actually looking up, but the arrow is actually the look at rotator's arrow, since this is plugged into this right here. So it's actually this arrow that's giving it the direction, but this is giving it the variables in which to, stay aligned. If that makes sense. So you'll want to get this arrow. If you want your character to look, its body to look this way at the character, then that's how you want to do that. That's pretty much how that works. So how would you do this for a game that is more of a first-person shooter? I'll show you here in a second. For the attacks, to get the attack started, use a trigger zone. Then once the trigger zone is activated, make it to where there's a keyframe that turns off these things, turns on the attack. So powers the trigger zone, powers on the attack, powers on the keyframe that turns these two off. And then during the timeline, you can have that keyframe stretched out during the animation of the attack. And you can have a trigger zone inside of that timeline, right? Where the animation of the attack is, where the keyframe that turns these two off are. Make sure it's not on keep changes that keyframe. And you can have another trigger zone that detects this character, and if that trigger zone detects that character right there, then you can make it to where this is my HP. The health goes down, knock back with a mover, and hit delay, like, you know, reaction if you're hit. So that's what that trigger zone would be doing. And that trigger zone should be on this setting. Then you'll want to connect this side to your main character. And it's as simple as that. So if we really needed a visual representation here, we're going to pull out our timeline, a keyframe that disables movement, stretch it out as long as you need, that is recording the disabled movements of these by powering it off. So that's what you'll want to do. Power that off and that off with this keyframe, stretch it out. And then have your animation or your attack. I'm not going to animate anything for the attack, but have that stretch out as long as this is stretched out. And then have a trigger zone in here that is connected to your character, your main character, and then on these settings right here. Then you'll want this trigger zone to be wherever if it's a sword, you'll want to make this as big as the sword, you know what I'm saying, where the sword's range is. So if the sword's slashing and it's in that bubble, that's what you want to do. And if it detects this character, that's this is the hitbox now, and that's the character. If it's inside of that bubble of the attack, have it detected inside of the health manager's thing or modifier that makes the health go down. And then use the animation for knockback, have this also connected to the knockback power, and have it also connected to the thing that makes this guy flinch. And essentially that's how you do that very, very, very easily for a fighting game. You might want to know my knockback settings just in case. Just go ahead and look at the screen. We can upsize this, I think. So here's my settings. This is the speed. Turn that down if you want to. That's turned on. And that tag is very important. And then pretty much the trigger zone that makes this go off. There should be a trigger zone that makes all that go off. And we'll just use this trigger zone as a reference. So let's say the character, you know, is in range for the attack, right? Let's say the anglerfish has to be like right here to make the CPU's attack sequence start that had everything inside of there. Then you'll want the detected inside of here. And you'll want to, you know, plug that into the main character, whatever character, set that to that. And essentially that's pretty much how you make CPUs or a way. How do you do this for first-person shooters and stuff like that? I'll show you Let me know in the comment section if you need any more help with setting up an enemy for a 2D game. So here we are setting up a CPU for a first-person shooter. So luckily for you guys, I've done all of this before. And again, this is some more advanced stuff. There may be some things you might want to add to my method, or there may be some things that, and I don't think there's anything that I left out. I think I pretty much thoroughly explained it. But if I did, just let me know in the comment section below. So this is my game, Polybius. We are going to go to view. And I believe it is this right here. I'm gonna go to edit. I have not edited this in a while because I don't need to, because it is 100% done. So it may take me a minute to navigate all this. Let me turn on the studio lighting. So inside of here is the actual level itself. And you can check out my other videos on my game Polybius. It looks excellent. This is the enemy. So if I remember correctly, it shouldn't take me too long to find all this. So this should be it somewhere in here. We see the follower. And I'm going to assume because this should be using the same method. As what I was using in the other one. But really, I wanted to give you guys a visual representation of this, but if I can't find where I put that at, since I haven't opened this up in so long. It might be inside of a microchip. That might be why I can't just see it. So I'm looking for a yellow microchip of some sort. I think it's this, yeah. This is where everything is. Okay. So this is the look at, and this is the mover. So in order to get some good movement with your platform type game, this is for platformers, it's something like this, and you can mess around with it, but make sure that Y is at 0, otherwise your character is going to fly. Then have that inside of there, this right here inside of there. And just pause the video, look at my settings as you please. You might want to use a rotation sensor to power this on whenever the character rotates. So you can just mess around with this as you please. And then just in case you want to use the method of a follower, you might not need this gadget, but just in case, this should be connected to a tag inside of the main character's puppet. If I remember correctly. Yes. The main character is right there. So that's the arms of the main character. So just place that dot in the center of the main character. Then place that inside of there. If you're going to even use the follower. You might not even have to do all that. But just in case, I'm showing you everything that, you know, I did to get this right. So what this will do is make it to where this character, this boss, whatever enemy will follow your character. But if your character spins, right, this enemy will actually walk towards the character instead of follow clockwise with it. So that's why using this method is important because this is how you get more smart AI in your games for your computers. So I really hope this helps you guys out. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Dreams. I'm Young Tech's YouTube on Dreams. And subscribe to me here and follow me on Twitch. I'm Young Text on Twitch. Peace out, guys. This is how you can make CPUs for platform games and for first-person shooters or for Smash Bros. Type games. If you're making fighters, you can make these for that also. Hopefully I clicked the right one. And as you can see, it works perfect. It works perfect. So if you are interested in my fighting game that I am displaying right now, Super Dreams Fighter, this should be out before Polybius. I would say creating a fighting game is a lot easier than a first-person shooter in Dreams, because then usually with first-person shooters you got to come up with a story, but with fighting games you don't have to do that. So it's typically a lot less stressful, in my opinion, to make a fighting game. It's just knowing how to make the fighting game is actually the hardest part. But once you know how, and I have the tutorials for it, fighting game combo, knockback, this applies to it, how to make CPUs. Once you know all this stuff, then pretty much it's really easy. So I hope this helps you guys out with your CPUs, with your knockback, with all sorts of stuff for your games. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe, follow me in Dreams. This was a much more advanced tutorial than it's advanced, it's at that level. So if you need any questions, just ask me in the comment section below. Follow me in Dreams, follow me on Twitch. I'm Young Text on Twitch. Check out my channel playlist for individual tutorials on logic, sculpting, animation, music, and more. Click on my channel name, then go to playlist, and you can find all sorts of excellent content. And I have all sorts of games uploaded on my Dreams profile, so just search through here, click on here, look up Young Text YouTube, follow to support all that great stuff, so that way I can make excellent games and look up more tutorials from other people in the community. Peace out, guys. Hope you guys enjoy my artwork back there too. Hope you guys have an excellent day.